Dusty Futon podcast is a product of the Dusty Futon LLC and Dusty Futon Productions. Go to dustyfuton.com for more information. Welcome to the Dusty Futon's Producers Corner. This episode features a production duo that we found through our campaign with Reverb Nation. In case you don't know, Reverb Nation is the worldwide leader in helping generate leads for independent artists, helping them reach their goals. These guys have helped millions of artists get exposure in some sort of capacity since 2006. Collision Creation is a unique duo who blend trance and pop and a couple of different amalgamations. The two are vastly different people who found each other in order to make music, and they do it with an amazing passion. We talk a lot about the difference between analog and digital, and you'll soon find out why. But let's go ahead and jump right into it with Collision Creation. Okay, now we're tracking. What the hell? All right, go on.
You're lucky I'm here.
I know, right? Wait, what? How does that happen?
Welcome back to the Dusty Futon. My name is Dirty Disciple. We're here with Big John.
Yo, sort of.
Today we are speaking with Jackie and Patrick. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's Patrick.
I'm here.
There
I'm
he
here.
is.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
All right.
Getting the kinks out. Getting the kinks out.
And the name of your group is called Collision Creative. Is that correct?
Collision Creation.
Yeah.
Okay. Collision Creation.
Oh, I did put it wrong on the website.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I couldn't find anything. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So, you guys are producers,
No, we're just songwriters.
songwriters?
Yeah.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about Collision Creation.
Well, it's all synth based, kind of electro pop. It's all original. Jackie and I write the songs. That's about it. It's all pretty much up tempo.
And do you record in your own studio or?
Well, the recordings that you have was recorded in a local studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your sort of inspiration for the project?
Jackie? I'll pass it on.
All right. I guess inspiration would come from just years, months, minutes, just time, like whatever passes in between since we've met. We met when I was like 17 and I was working at Walmart. And we just he sent me some instrumentals and just guess whatever I hear, whatever comes to mind, at the time. So it's inspiration.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Do you have anything out right now in stores or?
Yeah, we have stuff on iTunes and nothing like physical. It's all streamed.
So what's your guys' like musical history? Because it says on your thing that you have dance and music as a passion, mutual passion. So
right.
Let's start with the music. Like what are your histories in music? Like, Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie, go ahead.
You start.
off.
Not too much history, but just I've always been a fan of music. I was obsessed with Britney Spears since 5th grade, like deeply obsessed to this day, like passionately so. Like I love her.
Still, right?
No matter what anybody says about her, I love her. But talent shows here and there. Then middle school, show choir for 2 years, and then high school, some choir, and then that's when I kind of started, like 17, 18. I was like, you know what? I want to write my own music. I love to sing. So that's just very short musical history, but that's where I stand.
And that's where it started, yeah. And for me, I've been in bands before, either as a synth bass or listening to his projects or as a keyboardist in other bands. We played locally, but I never had my own thing. So this was, I guess the time was right. I just looked for a singer, found Jackie, what we met in some street corner in Chula Vista.
Yeah. At a park. I did a cappella.
Right.
So you guys met while you were performing at a park?
Oh no. We just randomly met each other via Craigslist and then just like met at a park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
time.
via Craigslist is how you met as musicians.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a really popular tool to meet musicians,
right.
Well, among other types of people. But
Right.
Casual encounters.
Casual encounters, yeah.
They canceled that actually.
They did? They finally got rid of that?
It's dangerous.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there's been like a lot of news reports related to that.
Oh, yeah.
It was a movie, The Craigslist Killer.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I just thought about... Never mind. Anyway.
I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah. No,
Never heard about that.
So you met through... What park did you guys meet at? Like what area of town, if you mind me asking?
It was
No.
It was on C Street, and I don't... It was right across the street from the DMV on Glover and C Street.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Jackie sang sang a cappella, and we hit it off
Lady
from there.
Gaga.
Yeah.
And do you play guitar, Richard?
Patrick.
No, it's Patrick.
Wow.
I'm not sure who Richard is, but
I'm such a dick.
He doesn't even look like a
I
Richard.
really can be such a dick. I'm
he
sorry.
does kind of look like a Richard, though.
I do. Wait, no, wait.
I don't
One
think
person
so.
said I don't look like Richard. I don't look like Richard.
Yeah, Patrick. Okay, so Patrick, and you said you were saying your musical background.
Yeah, it's always been keyboards, synths, and things like that. So
Okay.
no guitar, nothing, even acoustic. It's all been electronic. Yeah.
So what do you do on the computer, or what do you do when you create these tracks?
Yeah, it's not even on a computer. It's all done live and just like sequenced from one keyboard to another, kind of old school style.
So you do it all old school.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
Right.
So you're a duo, and as a duo, you're playing everything live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you manipulate the sounds and the mix and everything like that yourself?
When we do live, yeah, I was always,
Okay.
as people will say, I look like a mad professor. I'm always twitching dials and doing things like that. And Jackie's just fronting it. It's like I'm like this weird kind of moving presence behind Jackie, who's a solid like vocal presence in front. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So Jackie, what instruments do you play?
I don't play any.
So you're a vocalist strictly?
Yeah, that's my
Right on.
instrument.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. So when you guys are creating music, do you start with an idea, or do you have something written out? Like, do you have lyrics that you've written and you're trying to make music for it, or do you just start from nothing and start jamming and see what happens?
It's been like a lot. Sometimes Jackie will have some, and Jackie's the main lyricist for the band. I've written some lyrics, but Jackie's the main one. So sometimes she'll come with the lyric idea. Sometimes we'll have music and Jackie will sing lyrics to it. It's just, yeah, whatever works. And a lot of times we've just been in my music room. It's in my house.
Yeah.
We just hammer out songs that way too.
So if you're not recording stuff on a computer or anything like that, how do you remember your songs?
Yeah. Well, the good news is it's on one of the keyboards. It's like a motherboard. It has like a little memory.
So here's I got to clarify something.
Yeah.
When you say keyboard,
Yeah.
I think like Casio, like old school Radio Shack brand keyboard. I'm picturing, maybe if I'm lucky, a 76 key, with speakers on top. Now,
No.
is that what you're referring to?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. It's
So
got-
describe your equipment real quick.
Well, I've got two vintage Rolands, I don't know if you know, since like one's a Juno 106, one of like the standards in the 80s. It has a super cool fat sounds. But the main one I use is another Roland. I forget what it's called, but it's a digital, but it tells the other analog synthesizer what to do. So one digital, two analogs, and that's it.
So you have a full on just the setup.
It's like a rack. Yeah, it's a rack. Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
I have a Roland RS9 in my studio.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
It's got some pretty fat old school sounds on it.
I don't
yeah.
know any of that. I'm just whatever.
I love retro gear.
So you
Yeah.
really, in fact, are a producer. Because he asked you before if you're a producer, and you're like, no, I play keyboards.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because everything's, honestly, if you see me write it, everything's so fine tuned for me. It's like everything's got to sound right. And Jackie will say when we were in the studio, both Jack and I were like, in effect, our own producers. We were saying, hey, bump this up, turn this down, do this to the guy that was producing our music. Because we just had this ear for what we wanted,
Well, that's what the artist really does have is you have a vision, and that's the point, is you're trying to put your vision on paper, so to speak.
Right.
But your paper is your keyboard, and her paper is the voice, and
Exactly.
putting it together and recording it. So
Yeah, I think with a producer, a main thing that a producer achieves is being able to translate what's in an artist's head into digital form on
That's
a computer
right.
that's recorded and all put together in the way that they hear it in their head, which is a skill that's hard to master and learn.
Yeah.
It is.
That takes a lot of talent and time working with people and in the industry and music and all that sort of thing. So that's the difference between just a recording engineer in a studio, which is like what you were just describing, where you go in and record your tracks and then you do have a lot of input in what happens from there to your final mix and master.
Right.
And a lot of artists don't even go that far with what they do. A lot of them just go in, record, leave it up to the producer, the mixer, and the master to make the rest sound right,
Right, yeah. So, yeah, we didn't do that.
So you do a lot. Like, you do everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
yeah. And that's what a lot of independent artists, especially producers and duos, end up having to do. You want to hear one of the songs?
Yes.
Do you guys have a preference of the three you sent me?
Jackie?
I love Secret Time.
Okay, this is Secret Time by Collision Creation. All right, so that was Secret Time by Collision Creation. That sounded pretty fat of a track for just you two, like doing just synth and vocals.
Thanks.
I gotta say.
You work those lines before you actually play them, right? So you practice that line, and you tune in everything manually on your keyboard.
Yeah, a lot of it I'm doing live, but there's a lot of, just to be honest, a lot of it's recorded, but there's a lot of things that I'm doing live, like knobs and like different effects, things like that on the synths themselves that I'm doing live.
So like your drums, for example, are you using like a sequencer and programming that, and then you have your drum track running?
Yeah, exactly.
And then playing over it?
Yeah.
Are you playing bass live as well as the other parts?
Usually I'm playing one or two parts live, and the rest is all sequenced. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. A lot of times I'm struggling.
People don't realize how difficult that is to do, because nowadays everyone just pre-does that on a computer. Everything you're doing is manually done. That you're doing manually, people preset on their computers now, and just hit play.
Right, exactly.
And you're doing all of that live while she's prancing around on stage and singing.
Yeah, prancing, that's exactly what she's doing.
Well, you guys have a history in dance, and I saw some of the pictures. You guys just you move around on stage a lot.
I try.
And then you just flying back there.
Yeah, I'm stationed there, but I'm moving a lot of movement too.
Yeah, it's like things are flying around.
Right.
And yeah,
exactly.
So
right.
do you guys perform a lot?
We used to a lot more, but scheduling is like I'm like a new father, and Jackie's got her thing going with your new job and things like that.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a chance to play live in a while.
But what you're saying is, if the demand came, you would be.
Yeah.
So you're looking to perform if you can.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you take bookings if people were interested to book you for a show?
Sure.
Have a look at it anyway.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When's the last time you guys performed?
What was it? Probably
I think it was the House of Blues.
Yeah.
About
a couple years back. Yeah.
Oh,
right
wow.
on.
Yeah, it's
okay.
been a while. Yeah.
You working on anything new?
Yeah, we're always working on new things. Like I'm always writing, and Jackie's doing. Yeah, we're always writing. It's just we haven't had a chance to get together to play live, and we haven't really made an effort to do that. We're just working, and we're going to be probably going to the studio in a little bit with some new stuff too. So
Put out an album soon?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So our focus has been on that.
So you are having a new CD that you're working on. Soon. Cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about that, or is it secret?
Secret time. It's
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's to me it has more influences of different. It's some of the songs are slowed down. It's more of the last album that we have like an EP. That's where you got those 3 tracks are from an EP we had released a few years back.
Okay.
The next one's gonna be more maybe varied, more up tempo, some down tempo stuff.
Kind of more pop.
Yeah, things
Okay.
like that for sure. We're always looking for pop. Pop's kind of our thing,
Mhm.
Yes.
Britney Spears over here. It's
Yeah.
like
Pop Queen.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Lady Gaga, all that stuff. So yeah, for
Now,
sure.
speaking of that, you've got a look going on here. You've got something coming out of your head. It looks like someone
Yeah.
stabbed you with a chopstick.
I did. When I'm walking in, somebody stabbed me, and I'm still here.
So what's up with the look there?
Just fun. Just some chopsticks in my hair.
Is there a
Yeah.
heritage thing or?
No.
No.
I'm.
This is actually
influenced
tame
by a lot of-
for Jackie. This is pretty tame. I
Yeah.
was like surprised.
Oh, wow.
She's pretty flamboyant.
Is this
yeah.
your image for you guys?
Yeah, no, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like other than the
Because
tame
you
look,
both
it's
have a
more-
style.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
more like vintage, and the EP, wasn't it like green boots and mustard shirts?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Green
Right.
boots and mustard shirts is the name of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so no
much.
green boots though.
And hey,
Well,
it's
usually I
mustard
wear
shirt.
Mustard
I didn't know
shirt,
it. I was wearing mustard shirt. Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
know where to get one of those shirts.
I don't. I
Yeah,
mean,
you-
I think you have to go to a resale, like a
Yeah.
vintage shop, to
Yeah.
actually get those anymore.
Right.
Like
Do
they're-
you have merch?
No, we do not. We do not.
I know, there's something to think about.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because you can kind of take that vintage style that you have and tie it into. Did I hit your microphone stand?
You knocked my mic over, asshole.
Sorry,
I heard that. Yeah.
But yeah, you can start like this vintage or even a crossover, whatever. If this is your style, the kind of slinky style, or however you want to describe it, and kind of try and figure out how to mesh the two and make it your merch. That's a way to
Yeah.
brand yourself.
That's a good idea.
And that's actually a very important thing to have in as a musician right now too, because with streams and that sort of thing, it's worth not a lot for people listening to your music online anymore. So in record sales, so you got to have some profit margin coming in somewhere.
Yeah.
And merch
Right.
is one of those things that can happen on, but it's got to be well designed too, because everyone's trying to sell merch now, and it's just a name or a logo.
Right.
But if you can do something a little bit different,
Something
it goes a
different,
long
right.
way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you need your fans to support you ongoing, they have to be able to buy more than one thing or
Right.
want more than one thing.
Right.
And they will too.
And something physical is always nice because like streaming is great, but you don't have anything physical that you can hold on to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and people are wanting that tangibility more.
Exactly.
And the thing is, nobody wants it in, believe it or not, nobody even wants it in physical CDs anymore, because cars are starting to not come with them.
Right.
Without CD players now. I remember when tape decks started disappearing out of cars, and I was like, wow. And I saw my most recent car that I saw with the tape deck still in it was actually made after 2000.
My car only has a tape deck.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're both broke for, but like CD players are now starting to come out of cars, and it's all
Right.
streaming.
It's
and
all
it's all
streamed,
remote.
yeah.
That's
So
sad.
yeah, so that's why the merchandising is so important, because people will wear shirts always, forever. They'll wear hats. They'll drink out of koozies.
Right.
They'll use beer openers. Thumb drives are even going to be around for a while, because we're kind of hitting that memory cap around where people actually want their thumb drives. So look for like the tangible items that people will actually still use.
Yeah, and thumb drives go a long way too, because people steal them or you leave them at people's houses.
Oh,
and then, that goes
It's
to
like
the next
lighters.
person.
Lighters are the same way.
Lighters always
Right.
disappear.
Yeah, and
you
you
go.
want them to disappear if they have your brand on it.
Exactly. Right.
Because they end up in somebody else's pocket. Like, anybody got a light? Sorry.
Now I vape.
Yeah, I vape, bro. I got a vape pen.
Let's,
Here, maybe if I hold the battery down long enough, it'll light your cigarette for you. Yeah? No? Okay.
so let's listen to another song.
All right. Let's...
So this is Closer by Collision Creation.
Remember all those times that we cried. Remember all those times that we said we'd really try. Can't believe I put up this bond. Can't believe it's come to the point. This is song. I never wanna see you again.
did you program any of that arpeggiation yourself, or is it all done on the synth?
Some of it, one of the tracks I programmed myself. I had to do each line independently. Yeah.
Programming arpeggiation, like note at a time, is so damn annoying.
So that song was Closer by Collision Creation. Your vocals sound really good in all these songs, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
They sound awesome.
I think I was like 19 when we recorded that.
I was about to ask because that was what 6 years ago.
Right.
2012.
I'm looking back like,
Right.
ooh,
Oh my
girl.
God, really?
That's what it says.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So what I want to know two things I want to know. First thing I want to know, and I forgot. No, sorry. The first thing I want to know is where do you get your lyrics from? Like, what inspires you to write your lyrics?
That was actually the first song I ever wrote.
So, like, what was that song about?
Actually, no, I wrote. It was, I think, it was 2011 actually when I wrote it. And it was like right after I think I broke up with my first boyfriend, which seems so like nothing now. But like I just sat down at the kitchen table and I played his track over and over again. And just as someone who listens to music all the time, you find those measures, you find the spot to come in where the bridge is, where the chorus, etc. I just kind of listened to it over and over, started humming, and then it just kind of came to me. But it's the first song I ever wrote. I love that song.
That's awesome.
The other thing is what motivates you, Patrick, to write music, to write your songs? What is your motivation? I mean, you're kind of just, seems like you're just kind of having fun, which is great because it's
right.
like for a lot of people, music starts out as a hobby. But you got to have that motivating factor that starts you out, that keeps you writing,
Keeps you going,
moving.
right.
What is that for you?
Yeah, you know what? It's just it's a I guess, and it may, for the sake of sounding cliche, probably is cliche, just the passion and the love of just music. I've always, since I was boy.
Well, first of all, passion is never cliche.
Yeah, that's not cliche.
yes.
Never cliche.
Okay.
People
Alright.
say that, but they don't actually have
Yeah.
real passion for music. They
No.
just like doing it, or they want to get
Yeah.
famous, or there's other
Yeah.
things. It's not actually for the music. It's hard to find those people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for us, it's never been about fame or fortune, obviously. But for us, it's always been about this passion. This was kept me going. I just love music. I've loved it since I can remember.
Yeah.
Honestly, so it's just writing is that's where like my wheelhouse is in writing music. That's what I love. I also love performing. I do really love performing, but I think I like writing more. Just love.
How old were you when you started playing keyboard?
Probably, I was in my early 20s. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't do it from a really young age.
No, I didn't. Yeah. No, I didn't.
Did you do any sort of music in your childhood?
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I started with a clarinet.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. I
Yeah.
started in high school drumline, so
Yeah.
actually, no, I take that back. My music started with me trying to make a saxophone actually make noise,
Oh.
and it sounded like this.
Right.
So they said, "Here's 2 sticks, and go see if you have rhythm."
Yeah.
And so I had rhythm, and they put me on the bells and the timpani and the snare drum. So
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
Well, yeah, but so's a clarinet.
But that does have a big factor in like what happens from there too. Like if you're starting out playing anything, it's
You're
good,
right.
you
Yeah.
know?
That's what got me. And again, most of the music I was listening to at the time didn't have a clarinet featured in it. So I always dreamed of playing the drums or the sax were the 2 instruments I wanted to play. But then keyboard it was out there, and I said I just picked up that vintage synth. I just picked it up, and I started messing with it. It's like it had everything I wanted, except it didn't have drums. That back, vintage synths didn't have a drum track, so I bought a drum machine and used them together.
What kind of drum machine?
Man, it was a super old Korg, and you couldn't even. I had to actually play everything because the Korg you couldn't sequence. It was just a standalone drum machine and didn't have any. You guys know what MIDI is?
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't have any MIDI capabilities, so I had to play all the parts live to the drum machine.
So you learned how to play a drum set with one hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was insane.
I tried to do that as a kid. I was trying to learn how to do that.
Yeah,
playing
going
drums.
drum this in, playing keyboard is.
Yeah,
oh
it's
my
like
God,
that's
yeah.
just. I mean, and it's bad enough as you have 3 boards to sling.
Right. Yeah.
And having to do drums as well, man. That's what I was going to say is like your drums actually aren't bad even compared to any MIDI sequence drums.
Well, these are MIDI sequenced.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like you don't use anything that current people use. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Right.
Like
Oh, right.
You're still sticking with the old school, the analog way,
Right.
the real sound,
Mm-hmm.
rather than plugins, VSTs, and all that shit, which people now try to get that sound that you
Right.
have,
Or samples.
or
Right.
or samples.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Whatever. My point is moot now.
That's the easy way to do it.
That is the easy way. You're doing it the hard way, which is really, really awesome, and that kind of shows where your passion is.
Right. Yeah, because it takes a freaking lot amount of work to get a song done because it's painstaking.
It does.
Yeah.
Do you use your onboard sounds on your keyboards and synths, or do you customize them?
Yeah,
or-
every sound is customized. Yeah, I don't.
So
There's
that's even harder.
You always get the standard patch, and it's never. For me, it's never good enough. So it's
Sound of a true producer right there.
Right.
See,
There
you
you
are
go.
a producer, not a keyboardist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You're definitely
Yeah,
a producer.
Just because it's on a keyboard
Yeah.
is no different to having it actually on your software.
No, this
It actually works the same way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the sound designing is the same.
Yeah, and you even have the same components. They even have the visualization of it to where it looks just like the keyboard itself. The like the top section or the whatever section that you're using for your sampling or for your sound design. They have little images that you can touch and turn and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool now.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but
But what
maybe I should look into it.
Maybe
It might be easier.
It might not only be easier, you, because of the knowledge that you already have, if you learned how to use one of those, you would probably just blow up in your terms of production capability.
Yeah.
Just because you already been doing it for years, you already
Right.
have that knowledge and that practice on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Good
so,
point.
Yeah,
but-
you would be able to just hop on like any sort of digital instrument like VST and know exactly what to do because those are the same parameters that are on your keyboard.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I say stick to the analog.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is, if I love writing, and it's like I just love spending time just writing and discovering new sounds like by myself without having some machine to tell me this is what sounds good, right? So I just want to like figure it out myself using my ear, you know.
Did you read the manual for your keyboard or just figure it out on your own?
No,
That's See, everything you're telling me, it screams producer, not keyboardist. Like a keyboard player, yeah, he can make a couple of things on his keyboard and sit there and play out his beats, whatnot. But that's all a keyboard player is.
Yeah.
You're a producer.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm
I'll
glad you're
take it.
telling him that because for the longest time he was saying that, and I'm like, I would tell everyone, oh no, he produces all the music. He's a producer.
Yeah, you're a little, you're cool, man, but you're definitely overly humble. So,
Yeah, it's hard to do. Like you said, you know, I don't know. I was just thinking, I don't know any keyboard players,
No.
and I know a lot of keyboard players, but I don't know any of them that even know how to like access their sound bank to edit sounds or
Really?
even
Yeah.
want to.
Wow, that's
You know?
sad.
They just buy a
I
different
know.
keyboard that
Do you
has
see
the
a tear
sounds
coming down my cheek?
I can see it, you know, and that's kind of what I was getting at is that you don't have to be a producer that sits behind a computer in order to be a producer.
Yeah.
All a producer is someone that puts shit together and makes it sound good.
Yeah.
That's all a producer is. It in any field, in any category, in any position, whether you're on air, on TV, doing what we do. I'm a producer. He's a producer. We're producing content.
Right.
That's all it is. So,
Right.
And you're producing the main core of collision creation.
Thanks.
and
John.
doing that, like you're going to be the one who people like sample.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
going to use your sounds because you design them.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You know, you can just design sounds and sit there and sell sample packs for people,
Yeah.
and they sell
It's a good idea.
really well
Wow.
and
Yeah.
for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
If you're the one creating it, you're the one that actually can make the money off of it. Believe it or not.
So, are you using MIDI through your linking your keyboards together and your synths?
Yeah, they're all linked together via MIDI cord. So yeah.
That makes it even more creative
Yeah.
because you can access banks from your other keyboards.
exactly right. Yeah.
Pretty technical stuff.
I'm waiting for a microphone to drop because that shit was the bomb.
I respect instruments too much to drop microphones.
Yeah, I know, right? You never see a real musician or real artist drop a microphone. But
So, what are you guys looking to achieve with collision creation?
Jackie, I don't know. Just for us, it's just having fun. Like we're not up for fame or fortune. We like doing music. We just like having fun. We love seeing people dance, things like that. You know.
Cool.
Jackie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's just always been a hobby for sure. Just
Yeah.
the passion for music and that feeling that you get. That's that you don't get from anything else when you write, when you get into it and you feel creative.
Right.
I think that's the best coping skill, music.
Yeah, and being able to be your own kind of like having the two people to bounce off of. You can put your hobby, your entertainment, your love into one small bubble, and you don't have to share it with people, and you don't have to be concerned if they like it or not, because you have the two of you that are like, we like what we've created, and that's the most important part of any music creation.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that you did it for you,
Right.
and that you put your passion into it, and that you
so
don't
true.
give a shit about what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
It's a bit selfish.
Yeah, and it's
I think
true.
I think you
though.
have to give a little bit of a shit, especially if you want a fan base, and
Well, that's true.
And you guys want people to dance, so if you don't
Yeah.
give a shit about that, then you're not going to be able to feel what to do to make them dance. You know, you have to understand your fans, and you have to understand how to make them dance and make them feel your music.
True.
So that's what I.
Whatever.
That's
There's
what I
a
say.
symbiosis there, I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's hear another song.
Yeah, let's hear another song.
This one's called Flash Juku.
Flash Juku by Collision Creation.
Nice.
Yeah, so like what you were saying right there is in regards to musicianship
Yeah.
and how you know how to play your instrument properly and with dynamics and stuff like that. So
That's the word I was looking for, dynamics.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Velocity is a term that we use. Like that's in GarageBand and I think Pro Tools uses that.
Velocity is how heavy of a hit you're
Right.
Yeah.
And in musical language,
still
it's a
dynamics.
dynamic.
Yeah.
So it's just a general dynamic of the way you control the music itself. Like it's such a different concept because we've been talking to almost all artists who create it digitally. Even if they use a MIDI interface, it's still they're digitally going back and cleaning it up. Like there's a visual representation that they're using. He's going strictly off of ear and practice. You know, you're not using any visual component to your music.
Yeah. Like I said, there's tracks that like the drums, bass are all sequenced, but there's parts that I'm playing live. Yeah.
still setting that up.
Yeah.
Takes some time to get it how you sounding how you want it to sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you are sequencing a hi-hat, you don't want it just to have the same velocity throughout because it'll just sound like a machine gun. You gotta have variation so it sounds like it gives a rhythm
Right.
type thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dynamic.
when you're performing live,
Dynamics. The word of the day.
Yes.
Dynamics.
can you spell that?
Yes, I can. Do you want me to?
No.
I didn't think so.
So when performing live, are you running your vocals and your synths through a mixer before it gets to like the venue system or whatever, or are you running everything straight through your setup with your keyboards?
Yeah. Fortunately, when we play live, the people like, for instance, House of Blues, they had it all done for us. They just put it through their system.
Okay, so you just plugged your keyboards into the
So your
snake or
vocals
whatever,
run a
and-
separate track?
Yeah.
They're not through your
No, yeah, they're
your
on a separate
stack.
track. Yeah,
Okay.
separate track. Yeah.
So when you're in the studio recording and stuff like that, how are you applying effects to the vocals,
Yeah.
or do you just do your studio work just dry?
Yeah. Well, we always have Jackie likes reverb and something like his last song has some delay on it too. But we'll do that live in the studio. But when we go to the studio, we just have hopefully the engineer producer will know what to do with that. So we want it to sound fresh like Jackie's does.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then when you're playing live, you let the in-house sound guys apply effects and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
The less we have to worry about, the better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Especially with vocals.
Yeah.
Right.
Vocals are hard to get.
They're
good sound.
hard. Yeah, for sure.
So that's cool though.
Yeah.
You know. So where can people find your stuff? Do you want to give us your links and?
Yeah, you can just we're like I said, we're on iTunes, Reverb Nation, Bandcamp,
Facebook.
Facebook.
Reverb Nation,
Right.
which is where we found you guys.
Right. Yeah.
With the campaign that we ran, thanks to Reverb Nation hooking us up with that, and that's how we were able to find you guys.
Yes. Yeah. Thank Reverb Nation, of
Heck
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about specifically?
Me? No, I'm still blown away. Like, I don't know if it's conveyed properly or if I'm just like really naive with this, because in the technology now literally puts the focal point on the visual component of creating and producing audio.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is just something lost in translation with that when you don't do that, like when you don't have to use your eyes in order to create, because you're creating strictly off of your other senses, off the sense of touch, the sense of movement, your I forget what that one's called, but you're using
What word is that?
no, not the dynamics.
Okay, not dynamics.
No,
Okay.
there's ventricle sense. There's a different type of sense that your motion, where you are in space, ventricular, something like that.
Yeah.
It's one of the other senses that's not normally talked about. But anyway, I digress. Your use of your actual physical senses that don't include visual is just it's amazing to me that you don't have a computer screen. You don't have a processor separate of your tracks. You know, you don't have anything else you plug into other than your keyboards plug into themselves.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
That's it.
And that to me is amazing.
That's the real way.
Yep. And
All
that's
right.
not done anymore.
No, it's not. And I mean, it's done digitally.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that came about from the analog way of doing things. Everything's designed, not everything, but most, VSTs and the best plugins out there are designed off of the best sounding instruments
Yeah.
that have ever been created.
And you creating your own sounds using those instruments is something still that's very unique nowadays. And like you said, other people are going to want to sample your songs. Like I was listening to your tracks, and I'm like, man, I can just see DJs using cuts of your songs in clubs because some of your build-ups are just great, and they would maybe need, I don't know, different bass tones added to vibe. I don't know. I'm just talking shit now.
Yeah, so basically what you're trying to say is that you can create everything. You're creating a whole song, multiple tracks, every instrument on one device.
Yeah.
So, or could be a couple linked together like you're doing just to get your extra sounds and that sort of thing. But you got to know how to make that happen on there. Have you studied like sound and waveforms and all that sort of thing, or have you done everything by ear and
It's
learning?
all by ear, yeah.
So that's two different things. And you were saying you don't have a visual representation. You get a little bit of display on your keyboard screen.
But very little.
Really, you have to understand.
Dude, that's like the difference between a regular calculator and a graphing calculator, though.
Yeah, you have to understand what that waveform is and how to make it sound the way you want it to sound by applying the effects. And also then you're taking it from being monophonic, which is one sound, and taking it to being polyphonic, which could be multiple sounds. And you have multiple waveforms creating this one,
Thank
synth
God this
sound.
is at the end of the episode, because I think you've lost everybody. My brain, I even went to school for this shit, and my brain's all trailing off now.
I know. I feel like pressure right here.
That's what happens. What happens.
That's what happens when you own a record label. You know all this shit. Yeah. So
Don't get him started.
Yeah, I know, right?
I have an explanation for everything.
Yeah, you do.
Only with music, though. Nothing else. Don't ask me any other questions ever.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to come out here and have a seat on the futon with us.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much
us.
for having us. Yeah.
So make sure and check you guys don't have a website yet,
No, just the links we talked about. Yeah.
but search create.
Collision
Collision Creation.
You're getting it wrong every time.
Collision Creation.
Right.
Search them anywhere. I'm done.
Add them on Facebook. Support. You guys are independent.
Yeah.
So you're releasing yourselves and everything.
Right.
Cool.
And that's hard. So support independent music. It's very important. You support like real music, like these guys who do everything the old school way and the good sounding way.
Yup.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate it. We will see you next time on the Dusty Futon.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much to Patrick and Jackie of Collision Creation for coming out to take a seat on the Dusty Futon, and major thank you to Reverb Nation for connecting us with them. Big thank you to Dirty Disciple of Noise Cartel Records for being our host for today's episode. I'm Big John, co-host, engineer, editor, and producer of this production of the Dusty Futon LLC. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to get all of our newest episodes. You can find out how on www.dustyfuton.com. If you love what we're doing and want to support our cause like Rick and our other supporters, please consider going to patreon.com/thedustyfuton and pledging to support for as little as $1 a month. Thank you again for listening to this episode of the Dusty Futon Producers Corner. To put out an album soon?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So our focus has been on that.
Is it going to be on Laserdisc?
Yeah.
I see your sticker down there, the Final Frontier. Did you see that? Or the button? It says Laserdisc, the Final Frontier.
Yeah, that's a hot new thing.
I remember that advertising campaign. It's like, this is the disc to end all.
you have to get this.
This is the only movie you're going to have to buy again.
Yeah.
In less than 2 years, DVDs came out.
Right, I know. Poor Laserdiscs. They weren't even getting a chance.
No,
I know.
they weren't.
I know.
I mean, a record-sized movie that you had you had to flip halfway through.
Exactly.
That was
Right.
kind of hard.
I know.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. I think it
you
was
go.
The Godfather was on 10 discs or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was massive just watching a movie there. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, distraction on that.